Chance to sit down? Okay. All right, we're going to call to order the REDI Commission, May 9th, 2024. Please stand with us for the flag salute by Commissioner Steed. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Caught you off guard. Commission Secretary Ramirez, can we get the roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Deutsch?
Here.
Commissioner Eventov?
Here.
Chair Faulkner?
Here.
Commissioner Lecters is absent. Vice Chair Pastorian?
Here.
Commissioner Steed?
Here.
And Commissioner Wilson absent. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Secretary. Director, we have a presentation to receive the presentation from Temecula City, Sister City.
We do, Mr. Chairman. Tonight we have representatives of the Temecula Sister City Association who are here to share some words with us. So, Mr. Scott, would you like to come forward?
Thank you.
I'm the chairperson. My voice isn't loud enough? Not for the audience, okay. Okay, my name is Richard Scott, and I'm the chairperson of the Temecula Sister City Association, and I wanted to take the opportunity to give a little background and idea of what our mission is and what we do, and it follows along with your intentions, I believe. At this point, Temecula has had in the past two sister cities, one in the Netherlands and Dyson, Japan, which is also continuing as our sister city. The city in the Netherlands, if you've been in town a long time, you might remember that Carl Lindemans was a city council person, and he was the emphasis to begin that sister city relationship. And the sister city relationship and that began in 1993. 1994, we began our sister city relationship with Dyson, Japan. And again, if you've been in town a while, you might remember Jay Hoffman used to work for Temecula Valley Unified School District. He was assistant superintendent, and he made connections with Japanese students who wanted to learn English. And then that led to a sister city relationship with Dyson. So anyway, that's a little bit of background. So we've had 25 years with Leichendam Voorburg, and they decided not to continue in 2018. Dyson we continue with, and this year, actually, May 13th, we will celebrate 30 years as an official sister city relationship. And anyway, so our intention at the Sister City Association is to facilitate, provide volunteer support and time and hours with the exchanges that students and adults come from Dyson, Japan to Temecula, and Temecula sends city personnel and other volunteers to Dyson so that we get to know each other. There are people who have been from Dyson and come here a couple of times, and when you see them there, they're all hugs and welcoming and glad to see you, and they always include cultural activities with our visits. The students that come here will provide cultural activities for our students that are in the host families, so it's an intercultural experience firsthand. So that's really the emphasis of the programs. The motto of Sister Cities International is peace through people. So by making friends from other countries, other cultures, other areas, that's how we make the world a better place. Okay. So, an example of a cultural event. This happened in April. It's a Cherry Blossom Festival event in Dyson, and I recognize the faces of about half of the people there who have come and visited us. And this monument, this is Temecula Hill in Dyson. And when we had a delegation go in 2014, we planted trees on that hill. We had another delegation go in 2019. We planted cherry trees on that hill again. So there are smaller trees and larger trees. But anyway, another cultural connection with cherry blossoms and Japanese culture. Another event, when I've been to Dyson twice, in 2014, 2019. 2014, Aaron Adams went, and Robin Gilliland went, and I think Ron Roberts was going to go but was ill and didn't get to go. But anyway, so 2019, from the Sister City Association, no, that was 2014, Dan Venn went with me and our wives as the delegations from the Sister City, and then several city personnel went. Same thing in 2014, Tracy got to go in 2019, and Greg Butler went in 2019 for city representation. Also, if you've been in Temecula a long time, Adam, the art teacher from Margarita Middle School, Bonnie Martland, who also teaches some CRC classes or community service classes, was an artist, and we trade art to each other's cities. And she went with us to present her own art to the city of Dyson. This is another, since I'm talking about art presentations, this is a Temecula artist, and it's a oil painting that we presented as a gift to the city of Dyson, or the Sister City Association in Dyson. So we exchange art. During COVID, the Community Services Department facilitated art exchanges. Since we couldn't come physically, there were senior groups in Dyson that did postcard art, which is, you know the name of that off the top of your head? No. Anyway, so, and then some of our middle school students created art pieces, and we sent them there just to continue the connection. Anyway, so I think we're now in the process of preparing for a student we're going to talk about the end of May, beginning of June, an adult delegation is going from Temecula to Dyson. So Mayor Stewart, former Mayor Schwank, Mr. Hawkins, Kevin Hawkins, the assistant deputy or assistant city manager, and Isabel Aguilera is going. So we're sending some city personnel as well as 2 other members of the Temecula Sister City Association Board of Directors. So it's about 9 people. And then, end of July, Temecula will be receiving 6 middle school students and 3 adults, 2 teachers and a school district administrator, and we're continuing the search for homestay families. So I'm plugging this evening. At this point, we have 6 students coming, and we have 4 families to host. So we have 2 male visitors still available to draft. Anyway, so that's about it on my experience, my speech. We are preparing the people who are host families. The Community Services Department, Isabel mostly, is helping the Sister City Association plan events, plan a calendar, and train the people so that when the students come, our host Temecula families will feel a little more comfortable. So I think that's about it. Oh, I was going to show you me making noodles. There we go. Anyways, so I think that's it. Thank you for your attention. Do you have any questions?
Thank you so much. Anybody have any questions? Any questions? No, not from the audience. Yes,
Oh.
yeah, no. Sir.
No? Okay.
Yeah, no, but, anybody got any questions here? I just wanted to say I was stationed in the military. I was in Japan for 3 years, Yokosuka, Japan. I got married up under the cherry blossom tree, so what a beautiful sight and what a beautiful country. So I would have stayed there longer had they let me, but they said it's time to go to another
Navy
duty
said no?
station.
Too much fun.
Navy said no, too much fun. So thank you for the presentation, great
Okay.
information. I look forward to the report when they come back and
All right.
share what the visit was like.
And when the students come, they come on the 24th. So the morning of the 25th, they have a breakfast at City Hall and get a tour of City Hall. So there's, I imagine your commission is invited to attend that breakfast because many city dignitaries attend at that point in time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So if you don't have any questions, do we have any volunteers? We have 2 adults that need housing for that period of time.
Okay.
It's July 24th to August 1st. So think about it. If you have a question, I have a copy of the flyer that I can hand you, and it has my contact information on the bottom,
Okay.
if you're interested.
Yeah.
Mr. Scott, if you want to go ahead and leave that flyer with the commission secretary, we'll make sure that each member of the commission, including those
Okay.
that aren't present, get a copy of it. And then if there are any questions, we'll direct them directly to you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
welcome.
Appreciate that presentation. Thank you so much. All right, Commission Secretary, are there any public comments on non-agenda items?
We do not for non-agenda.
All right, with that being said, we'll go to approve the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? So moved. Can I get a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who made the motion? Okay, Commissioner Evantov and second Pastorian, Vice Chair Pastorian. Okay, I'll go ahead and take the roll call vote. Commissioner Deutsch,
Aye.
Commissioner Evantov.
Aye.
Chair Faulkner,
Aye.
Vice Chair Pastorian,
Aye.
and Commissioner Steed.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. So now we'll roll right into the business item number 1, the proclamation for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I'll start off with a couple comments before I turn it over to the director. First of all, thank everyone for being here. One of the great things about being on the REDI Commission is we get to recognize our residents and the different cultures and demographics that make up the city of Temecula. We're one Temecula and we're a great city because of you and your contributions to our community. And we want to continue to make sure we recognize you and highlight the efforts that you've done and how you made this country great based on your additions to not only the city, but to the state as well. So thank you for being here. Look forward to what we're going to be doing tonight in regards to recognizing the proclamations. So with that being said, Director, we have Cindy.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to comment on a few words here. So yes, today we are doing the proclamation for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, as well as following that, the proclamation for Jewish American Heritage Month. Unfortunately, our elected officials couldn't be here tonight with us, and we also have some commissioners missing tonight, but they did send in some video messages, and we'll be playing those consistent with the AANHPI Heritage Month section, although they do apply to Jewish Heritage Month as well. And then we'll go ahead and receive the assigned commission comments from the respective commissioners that are present, and then we'll ask for the reading of the proclamation, Chair Faulkner, as well as receive public comments. We do have public comments on both proclamations.
Great.
So with that, we'll go ahead and, actually, one other thing, tonight, for some of you that may already know, we have Culture Fest, our 3rd annual Culture Fest that is coming up on Saturday, May 18th. So I will actually have Tracy Tomines, who is here with Community Services. Under my Executive Director's report, we'll have her give you an update on Culture Fest.
Okay, great.
So with that, Chair, I'll turn it back over to you for the assigned commission comments on AANHPI Heritage Month from Commissioner Steed.
All right, thank you so much. Commissioner Steed.
Great, thank you. Let's go ahead and pull up those slides. I always love this part every month because we get to learn a lot. And some of you already know these facts, but for those of you that don't, it's a lot of really good information. So go next slide. Okay, in 2020 census, It shows that 19.9 million people identified as Asian alone and 4.1 million people identified as Asian in combination with other race. About 690,000 people identified as Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander alone, about 900,000 identified as NHPI in combination with another race according to the 2020 census data. The Census Bureau published data for 21 different detailed groups in the United States under the umbrella of the Asian alone, including Chinese, Asian, Indian, Filipino, Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese, Pakistani, Hmong, Cambodian, Thai, Taiwanese, Laotian, Bangladeshi, Burmese, Nepalese, Indonesian, Sri Lankan, Bhutanese, Mongolian, Malaysian, and Okinawan. Only 3 states, Hawaii, California, and New Jersey, had 10% or more of their population identify as Asian alone. Hawaii, Alaska, and Utah were the only states where at least 1% of the population identified as Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander alone. Next slide. So now we have a timeline. It starts in 1765. The first Filipino Americans settled in Louisiana. In 1843, a 14-year-old fisherman named Manjaro became the first official U.S. Japanese immigrant rescued from a shipwreck and later adopted. In 1849, following the discovery of gold in California, thousands of Chinese miners emigrate to California. In 1869, completion of the first transcontinental railroad, which an estimated 15,000 Chinese immigrants helped to build. In 1882, Congress passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, banning Chinese workers from entering the country and excluding them from citizenship. In 1884, the first Koreans landed in the United States. In 1841, fear of espionage during World War II resulted in the forced detention of more than 120,000 Japanese Americans in internment camps. Despite this treatment, more than 33,000 Japanese Americans served in the U.S. military during World War II. In 1957, Dalip Sond of California is sworn in as a U.S. representative, becoming the first Asian American and Indian American to serve in Congress. In 1959, Hiram L. Fong is sworn in as Hawaii's first senator, becoming the first Asian American elected to the chamber. In 1965, Patsy T. Mink of Hawaii is sworn in as a U.S. representative, becoming the first Asian American woman to serve in Congress. In 1979, Asian Pacific American Heritage Week is proclaimed. May is chosen in honor of the first official Japanese immigrants' arrival in May 1843 and the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in May 1869. In 2021, Kamala D. Harris is sworn in as the first female, first Black, and first Asian American Vice President of the United States. Next slide. Happy Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Let's ace it, acknowledge, celebrate, and educate.
Mr. Chair, I would be remiss if there is one bullet point on that particular history list that I feel compelled to speak a little bit more about, and that is the addition of the Dalip Singh Sond. Mr. Sond, he was actually an Indian American politician who served 3 terms from 1957 to 1963 in the United States House of Representatives from California's 29th Congressional District as a member of the Democratic Party. And as an API myself, we are very proud of him as he was the first Sikh Indian American, Asian American ever elected to the United States Congress. And our post office here in Temecula, the one on Rancho, California, actually has a plaque giving credit to Dalip Sond. So it's an interesting, he was actually born in British India. So there's a lot of history there. So with that, Chair, we have several video messages from Supervisor Washington, Mayor Stewart, and our REDI liaison council member, Zach Schwank. So Chris, if you can go ahead and play the videos.
Hi, I'm Chuck Washington, Riverside County 3rd District Supervisor, and tonight I have the incredible opportunity to join you to recognize not only Jewish American Heritage Month, but also Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Both have played pivotal roles in shaping our nation's culture, economy, and social fabric through their resilience, creativity, and unwavering commitment to progress. Over the last decade, we've seen not only our overall population rise, but also our diversity. Greater percentages of residents identify as Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, and Jewish American in Riverside County. And much of that growth has been right here in the 3rd District. Here in Temecula, you'll find many student clubs represented on our school campuses, many who are here tonight. Around town and beyond, you'll also notice that the community has made a deliberate effort through cultural celebrations, museum exhibitions, and performing arts to recognize the many contributions and historical significance of these groups. As we continue into the month of May, let us remember diversity is one of our community's greatest strengths. I am grateful to you all for creating an inclusive environment and for welcoming the recognition of these cultures with open arms. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mayor Stu. I'm really sorry I couldn't be with you in person today, but I wanted to take time to wish you all a happy Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and a Jewish American Heritage Month. Temecula is a very diverse community, and a lot of these citizens provide services that we make our city our city. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're police officers, they're firemen, they're even city hall workers. So I totally appreciate the fact that we have such a diverse community here in Temecula. I just wanted to say thank you for making Temecula such a perfect place to live, work, and play. Again, happy Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and happy Jewish American Heritage Month. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Faulkner, commissioners, staff, students, and community members. I am Councilmember Zach Schwank, and it's an honor to be here tonight as we celebrate Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month and Jewish American Heritage Month. I'm unable to be there tonight in person to join in the celebration, but I wanted to take a moment of your time and thank the community for continuing to support these proclamation presentations. Thank you to the REDI Commission for your continued work in this space, and a special thanks to city staff for their tireless work supporting the REDI Commission and ultimately the community. I hope we all learned something this evening and gain a little more empathy for those around us. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see everyone on Saturday, May 18th, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. right here at the Temecula Civic Center for our 3rd annual Temecula Culture Fest in commemoration of World Day for Cultural Diversity. Thank you, and have a great evening.
That concludes the videos, Chair.
All right, thank you so much, Director. And now I will read the proclamation for National Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. The City of Temecula Proclamation, whereas this May during National Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we recognize the history and achievements of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders across our nation. And whereas the month of May was chosen as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month to commemorate the immigration of the first Japanese citizen, Nakahama Majiro, and if I messed that up, please grab me afterwards and beat me up about it, to the United States on May 7, 1843, but also the anniversary of the May 10, 1869, completion of the first transcontinental railroad built with the backbreaking labor of nearly 20,000 Chinese immigrants. And whereas AANHPI communities make our nation more vibrant through diversity of cultures and languages that enrich America's culture and strengthen the United States' role as a global leader. And whereas AANHPI communities are deeply rooted in the history of the United States and the strength, contributions, and legacies of AANHPI communities, have helped build and unite this country in each successive generation. And whereas we celebrate and honor the invaluable contributions the AA NHPI communities have made to our nation's culture, arts, law, science, technology, sports, and public service. And whereas AA NHPI residents contribute greatly to the economic viability and the high quality of life of our community as professionals, business owners, educators, students, volunteers, veterans, and more. And now, therefore, I, Mayor James Stewart, on behalf of the City of Temecula, hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 to be National Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and call upon our community to learn more about the history of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, and to observe this month with appropriate programs and activities. In witness hereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Temecula to be affixed this 9th day of May, 2024, signed James Stewart and Randy Joel, City Clerk. Are there any public comments?
Yes, we have one. Mylena and William.
So high. Aloha and Yorana. My name is Milena, and I'm one of the girl captains of Great Oak High School's Ohana Nani Nui, which translates to Big Beautiful Family. Our wahine, a group of about 50 girls, led by Reese Nolani and myself, spread the culture and traditions between the Polynesian and Hawaiian Islands through dance forms like hula and ori tahiti. A common misconception would be that hula and ori tahiti are the same thing, but they have different histories and traditions. Hula, originating from the Hawaiian Islands, is a dance form used to tell a story about one's past, culture, and ancestry through various flowy and graceful movements. Ori Tahiti, originating from the Tahitian Islands, is a dance form focusing on Tahitian and Polynesian culture through various drum beats and faster-paced hip movements. Our Ohana, a collection of students with diverse backgrounds, provides a safe space for students to connect through a shared passion that is Polynesian dance. Thank you.
Kia ora, everyone. My name is William Narong, and I'm one of the boy captains of our school's Ohana Nani Nui, alongside Nathan Jun and Tracy Biz. During our school rallies, our Tane perform haka, originating from the ancient Maori tribes of modern-day New Zealand. Haka was traditionally performed to welcome in new tribes and to intimidate opponents on the battlefield. Today, haka continues to be a sign of respect and is performed on important occasions. Through our fierce words and intimidating facials, we continue to display pride, strength, and unity as a group. This led to this year's establishment of Kahatoa Nui, translating to Big Strong Warriors, for when we perform separately from our wahine. In addition to this year, my co-captains and I were honored to have the opportunity to share and spread to our Tane the exciting culture of Ori Tahiti, also known as Tahitian dance, from the islands of Tahiti, as well as share the culture of haka to our wahine, the girls of our ohana. In the past, we were inclined to stick to what was handed down from our previous captains, but this year we unexpectedly surpassed our own expectations and were able to spread new aspects of the Polynesian culture. From the bottom of our hearts, mahalo and maururu to everyone who has contributed to the legacy of Ohana Nani Nui, and thank you all that are here today to listen to our achievements from this past year.
Chair Faulkner, we do have one more public comment. Agnes Nazareno.
Good evening, commissioners, community members. My name is Agnes. I'm the chairperson of, it's a mouthful, our organization, but it's Paris Valley Filipino American Association, Paris Phil-Am for short. We started in 1997. We're almost 27 years old now, and we want to thank you in behalf of all our Asian American, Pacific Islander, Native Hawaiian, and Desi American brothers for the proclamation of May as our month, and also we also want to celebrate the Jewish American Heritage Month. May I use this really quick because I want to invite everyone to Monday at the UCR Watkins 1000. We have a film showing of Nurse Unseen. It's a documentary of the unsung Filipino nurses during COVID, who risked their lives. You're all welcome, and the public is welcome. It's 7 o'clock at UCR Watkins 1000. And on May 18th, everyone who's going to your Culture Fest can go swing by the Lake Paris Dam because we also have a wellness walk.
All right.
And Mila is our administrator of our community programs because we have 3 initiatives: mental health, COVID-19, and Stop the Health.
Awesome.
Just a few notes. Thanks again for this opportunity. My name is Mila Banks, and I am the coordinator for the Asian American Pacific Islanders Mental Health Resource Center, AAPI-MHRC. It's always a mouthful. And like Agnes said, we have 3 programs going on. We have the mental health promotion, we have COVID awareness, and we also have Stop the Hate. These are funded with a few dollars from both the county and the state, so we are grateful for that. And Agnes already said about the activities that that are upcoming, but we also want to let you know that May is Mental Health Month as well. Mm-hmm. That's why we're wearing green ribbons. Mm-hmm. And the Hope event to be held at the Rustin Building, RUHS Behavioral Health, is on May 15, on Wednesday next week. We will celebrate what we call our Hope event, and this theme for this year is belonging. Mm-hmm. And so with that, we really thank you for this opportunity and for the proclamation of our AAPI heritage. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I see that I still have a couple of minutes left. I'd like to thank our group, just a small part of a group who also came and support, sure. And they all want to thank you at the same time. Would you stand and be acknowledged? They made the trip. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, City of Temecula.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yes, Director.
Mr. Chair, for those that had pre-requested their proclamations, the proclamations are on the table next to the podium. If you are sitting in the audience and you're thinking, hey, I want a proclamation, go ahead and contact the city clerk's office and we'll be happy to go ahead and mail one out to you for your organization as well. So, but for those that did speak with the city clerk's office in advance, your proclamations are there. With that, Mr. Chair, we can go ahead and move to the proclamation for Jewish American Heritage Month.
Thank you so much, Director. We want to thank you for your accomplishments of all the Jewish American in our country and for this Heritage Month. We're glad you're here in numbers so we can show our appreciation for you and the things you've done for this country. So thank you for being here tonight, and we look forward to recognizing you and celebrating you tonight. So Director, can I get a staff report?
Yes, we'll go ahead and turn it right over to Commissioner Deutsch for the slide presentation.
Thank you.
All right,
Deutsch.
Thank you. We're ready to go. The first slide. Welcome to Jewish American Heritage Month. An estimated 2.4% of U.S. adults are Jewish. The 2020 Jewish population estimate is approximately 7.5 million, including 5.8 million adults and 1.8 million children, rounded to the closest 100,000. This is an increase since 2013. In 2013, the estimate was approximately 6.7 million, including 5.3 million adults and 1.3 million children. And I just want to say for comparison, Temecula, in the Temecula Valley, there's an estimate about 700 maybe Jewish affiliated people. So it's a small population here in the Temecula Valley. Small population everywhere. The Jewish American Heritage Timeline. In 1654, 23 Jews sailed from Brazil to New Amsterdam, and a few years later established themselves as an organized Jewish community. In 1730, Jews in New York built their first synagogue, Shereth Israel. In 1862, the United States government appoints army chaplains to serve Jews. And I'd like to add here, in 1912, 38 women constituted the Hadassah chapter of the Daughters of Zion and chose nursing as their focus, and representatives from Hadassah are here this evening. In 1918, the First American Jewish Congress met in Philadelphia. In 1919, the first Passover Seder dinner given by the Jewish Welfare Board to men of Jewish faith in the American Expeditionary Forces. In 1928, the National Conference of Christians and Jews is established to further interfaith activities in the United States. In 1941, over 500,000 Jews, Jewish generals, and Jewish admirals served in the American armed forces during World War II. In 1948, on May 14th, Israel declares its independence. The United States government immediately recognizes the new state. In 1972, Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion ordains the first woman rabbi, Sally Presand, and I am happy to say that Rabbi Sandy Rosenstein is here tonight, following in those footsteps, and myself, I was ordained at HUC-JIR in 1995. In 1993, the opening of the United States Holocaust Museum in Washington and the release of the popular film Schindler's List by Steven Spielberg heightened public awareness of the Holocaust throughout the United States. And in 2004, Jews celebrated 350 years of American Jewish history. Next slide. Our final message, as always, happy Jewish American Heritage Month. Let's ace it. Acknowledge, celebrate, and educate. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. All right, I will now read the proclamation for Jewish American Heritage Month. The City of Temecula Proclamation. Whereas this made during National Jewish American Heritage Month, we recognize the history and achievement of Jewish Americans across our nation. And whereas Jewish American Heritage Month and its origins in 1980, when Congress passed Public Law number 96 TAC 237, which authorized the President to issue a proclamation designating April 21st through 28th, 1980 as Jewish Heritage Week. And whereas Jewish American Heritage Month was first established by presidential proclamation in 2006, following bipartisan support in the U.S. House and Senate, and has been reestablished by each president every year since. And whereas Jewish American Heritage Month commemorates the contributions Jewish Americans have made to all facets of American society, including proudly serving in uniform, in elected office, and on our nation's highest courts. And whereas today 7.5 million Jewish Americans make up roughly 2.25% of the U.S. population. And whereas despite the strength shown and success achieved, Jewish American communities have endured a long history of struggle in the inclusion, belonging, and acceptance space, generating a need for more awareness. And whereas Jewish residents contribute greatly to the economic viability and the high quality of life of our community as professionals, business owners, educators, students, volunteers, veterans, and more. And now, therefore, I, Mayor James Stewart, on behalf of the City of Temecula, hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 to be Jewish American Heritage Month, and call upon our community to learn more about the heritage and contributions of Jewish Americans to observe this month and appropriate programs and activities. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of City of Temecula to be affixed this 9th day of May 2024. Mayor James Stewart, City Clerk Randy Joel. Commissioner Secretary, are there any public comments?
Yes, we do. We have 4. Our first speaker is Stephen Schwartz, to be followed by Chase Bergeson.
Thank you. Just like to thank all of you for what you do. Even though I'm an elected member of the school board, I'm here as an individual and as a Jew because of what is going on in this world. Anti-Semitic hate crimes have skyrocketed by 45% this year, according to police data obtained in New York. In Toronto, 56% of reported hate crimes in 2024 have targeted Jewish people. More than 42% of Americans either have friends or family who dislike Jews and find it socially acceptable for a close family member to support Hamas. In the 3 months since October 7th massacre in Israel, U.S. anti-Semitic incidents have skyrocketed, reaching a total of 3,291 incidents between October 7th and January 7th. This represents a 361% increase compared to the same period 1 year prior. So I thank you people for what you do, and I just want to thank my colleagues who are here, our superintendent of schools, Dr. Gary Woods, our director of diversity and inclusion, Dr. Anthony Price, our students from Great Oak, I'm sorry I didn't even know you guys were here, and from Temecula Valley High School, our principal of Temecula Valley High School, Donna Leone. As a member of the school board, 2 years ago, we did pass a resolution condemning anti-Semitism, and I thank my fellow board members who were part of doing that, and I thank you guys for what you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Chase Bergensen, to be followed by Paul Ryers.
Good evening. My name is Chase Mayer Bergerson. I'm a proud Jewish Israeli American attending Temecula Valley High School as a junior. Today I stand before you to speak with a heavy heart on a topic that has been happening for centuries, especially after October 7th, and demands for our immediate attention and action. Anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism, the prejudice, discrimination, and hatred against Jewish people. From ancient times to the Holocaust to the present day, Jewish people have faced violence and persecution simply because of their faith and heritage. As a great-grandson of a Holocaust survivor, it has become very scary how easily history is repeating itself, such as the universities not allowing their Jewish students free access to their campus, or even allowing them to go inside their classrooms. I myself witnessed the anti-Israel and anti-Semitic protests when I went on a tour through AVID to UCR. And what anticipated to be a moment of excitement about my educational career journey, I found myself overwhelmed with fear instead. I fear for the Jewish students on college campus who are harassed and denied an experience they too have worked hard for. I fear for those who are prevented from freely navigating campuses simply because of their religion and heritage. I fear that I too will face these challenges, and that all that I have worked towards in my educational journey will be overshadowed by encounters with anti-Semitic students and faculties. Anti-Semitism is not just a problem for the Jewish community, it is a threat to the values we hold dear as a society. We cannot turn a blind eye to the rising tide of anti-Semitic violence across the world, from acts of vandalism against Jewish synagogues, cemeteries, and Jewish-owned stores and the homes of swastikas, to the spread of hateful propaganda online through social media. We must educate ourselves and others about the history of anti-Semitism. I would like to see the education system hold a higher standard on how they educate with Jewish history. We pride ourselves on the work this country has done for diversity, where every person is treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their race, religion, or background. This should not stop when regarding the Jewish people. I personally will always hold up my head high as a Jewish man. I will not allow anyone or anything to change that. My people have fought and will continue to fight every day. We stay strong, we fight for what is right, and we refuse to let history repeat itself. The silence is deafening. I'm Yisrael Chai. Thank you.
Next speaker is Paul Ryers, to be followed by Rabbi Sandy Rosenstein.
Good evening, and thank you for recognizing Jewish American Heritage Month. It's not just Jews that are here locally, but Jews around the world who could definitely use this recognition. And it's kind of hard to follow this young man, what he just said, because that was amazing. So thank you so much for your kind words and what you had to say. I represent Jewish Together Temecula Valley, and we are a young, very small but mighty, I guess we want to say that, grassroots organization that started here just last year for the sole purpose of providing some local events for Jewish people in our community, as well as some social education and social justice and different programs that we do offer, definitely celebrations. And it all started when 4 families came together with the same goal to make Temecula Valley and the surrounding areas more inclusive for those who wanted to connect to Judaism. And so they discovered there was a need to create a space where Jews, regardless of their affiliation or family structure, could gather with other like-minded individuals and create new relationships. And we started that, and we've done that. And it's just been amazing to see the outpouring of individuals here locally who want to participate and be involved and find connections and have the ability to meet new people. And it's just not just new people, but also old friends maybe you haven't connected with before or recently. And so that's quite nice. It's a nice program that JTTV, as we call that, has created for this local community. Some of our celebrations that we do offer happen to be we had a Passover Seder. We did one last year, and we did one again this year, and it's amazing. We thought maybe 11 people might show up for it, and last year we had 130 people actually register for that event. So there are Jews living out here in Temecula Valley and who do want to connect, and it's gone like that throughout the year, and it culminated for Hanukkah at a celebration we had at Lorimar Winery, when 250 people showed up. Now, granted, I understand it's a free meal that you get, and they want to be there, but still, there's a connection. And we're doing the exact same thing this year, and it started off with a couple of different events. And so one of our next events we're having is what we call our Sunset Schmooze. It's at a private residence here in the local area. Great opportunity for a campfire and conversation, be with your friends. And we all have something in common, okay? And that's called being part of the community. Doesn't mean you have to be Jewish, but you're part of the community. So anyways, that's who we are. It's what we are all about. And we always invite people to come on board. Our website address is JewishTogetherTemeculavalley.org. It's a mouthful as well. And so once again, thank you so much for the time today. We appreciate the opportunity to speak. And God bless.
Thank you so much.
Our final speaker is Rabbi Sandy Rosenstein.
Short people. All right, good evening. Thank you for having me. I am I'm really Rabbi Sandy Rosenstein of Temple Beth Shalom of the Temecula Valley. If you walk through those walls and just keep going, you will find us, because we're right there at 4th and Mercedes. I am going to tell some stories, because I do stories well, about the Jews who arrived in America. An overview of travel, settlements and moments of social activism within the Jewish communities in America that I'm hoping you'll find interesting. So, there have been Jewish communities in the United States since colonial times, with individuals living in various cities before the American Revolution. In fact, the likelihood that Jews came across the Atlantic with Columbus is extraordinarily high. Was Columbus Jewish? Good chance. Good chance. But anyway, early Jews were fleeing the Inquisition in Spain and ultimately found themselves settling in what is now the American Southwest and parts of Mexico. And through the centuries, European Jews have fled pogroms. What's a pogrom? It's an orchestrated act of violence against a Jewish community. And we have been known to flee places where there was just civil unrest that wasn't necessarily directed at us, but would end up getting us anyway. Many of those people who fled Europe ended up in North and South America, South Africa, North Africa, and of course the Middle East if they had left previously, their ancestors left. But those stories are for another time. Let's go back in time to 1658, Rhode Island. There we will discover a place called the Truro Synagogue, also known as the Spanish and Portuguese Synagogue, founded in 1658 by the descendants of families who fled the Inquisition from Spain and Portugal and found themselves left in the Caribbean, but that wasn't working too well. So then they went and gathered together and moved to Rhode Island. In his famous letter to the Hebrew congregation of Newport, written in 1790, President George Washington pledged that our new nation would give, quote, to bigotry, no sanction, and to the persecution, no assistance, end of the quote. Clearly, there was a problem, even in 1790. It was, the synagogue was designated a National Historic Site in 1946, and if you get a chance to go, I urge you to, and do go to their visitor center, which is quite spectacular and is loaded with the data and information about Jews and the First Amendment. Who knew? But it's there. It's a really good trip. And I bring that up because we're sitting in a REDI Commission meeting, so First Amendment rights kind of matter. All right. Just a fun aside about George Washington and the Jews. During the Revolutionary War, when he was merely General Washington, he relied tremendously on Jewish entrepreneurs such as Chaim Solomon, who was the most significant financier of the revolution. The Continental Congress named him Treasurer of the Army in America. This man, Chaim Solomon, was a Polish-born Sephardic Jew who descended from Spanish immigrants. He provided interest-free loans to the Continental government, as well as loans to people like James Madison and Thomas Jefferson. He founded a synagogue called Mikveh Yisrael in Philadelphia, often called the Synagogue of the Revolution, because many of its members were active in pre-revolutionary activities. Curiously, when Chaim Solomon died at the tender age of 42 in 1785, he was, brace yourselves, penniless and $638,000 in debt, and the government never repaid him. But oh well, moving on. Continuing our journey through time to another synagogue, Congregation Sharet Israel, AKA the Spanish and Portuguese Synagogue. It is in New York, which was then New Amsterdam. In 1654, it was founded by 23 refugees from Dutch Brazil. Who ever thought that there were Dutch Brazilian Jews in 1653, 54? Well, there were. And they founded this synagogue. Now, this is fascinating. They were given permission to settle in the colony, but they were not allowed to pray in a public synagogue. I don't even know what a public synagogue is, but they couldn't pray there.
I'm sorry, Rabbi Rosenstein, the 5 minutes is up.
No kidding.
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
that's it. So
I'm sorry.
Talk to me later. I have more, and bye.
Actually, I see Mr. Rosenstein there as well. Mrs. Rosenstein, if you could send that to us, that would be great, because we'd be happy to disseminate the entire history to our commissioners and our council members.
Thank you so much. I could sit here and listen to it all day, give you 20 minutes, but we got 5 minutes for public comment, so I'm sorry about that. But we look forward to getting to read it ourselves as well. So thank you so much, Rabbi Rosenstein. All right. All right, ready for business item 3, Director?
Yes, and this is going to go really fast, so I would encourage everyone to stay put so we can talk about Culture Fest. Commissioners, we, for the last several meetings, have been talking about home ownership opportunities for the youth. So just a quick update is that staff is continuing to consolidate the identified barriers that you all identified into the 4 buckets that you selected: education, resources. We are continuing to do research on service providers beyond just the county and Habitat for Humanity, and continuing to try to match the providers that we can identify to the buckets of the barriers. And then our hope is that we can actually get those providers to come and give you a presentation in regards to those, how they are handling those particular barriers. That will be the last step before you finalize your report to the City Council. So we expect the topic will be coming back to you at the June Commission meeting. So that is the only update. Chair Faulkner, if you will allow me, under the Executive Director's report, as indicated, I would like to go ahead and bring up Tracy Tomines from the Community Services Department. As you know, the history affiliated with this Culture Fest. Culture Fest started right here 4 years ago as a concept by the original REDI Commission, the OG commissioners, of which some of you are still here and some of you are continuing on that legacy. It is very difficult to believe, but we are getting ready to celebrate the 3rd annual Culture Fest event. It has become a signature event for Temecula. It became a signature event just in the very first year and has continued to be successful thereafter. For the city clerk's office, we have taken the liberty to go ahead and schedule all of our board, committee, and commission members who are available to go ahead and serve in the board, committee, commission booth, as they typically do. We are promoting it through the city manager's office and social media, and I know you guys have all seen Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of good stuff. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Tracy to give you all of the details affiliated with the event. And we hope everyone in the audience will be there as well. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you. So, hello, Commissioners. So, for those of you in the audience, I'm Tracy Tomines. I'm our coordinator for the Community Services team, specifically with the events. So, on Saturday, May 18th, we will be hosting our 3rd annual Culture Fest event right in front of City Hall from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So, tonight I'm just kind of giving you a brief update since the event is just less than 2 weeks away. At this time, we have just over 20 vendors. I think we're about 23, 24 vendors who will be participating. So we have several food vendors, educational booths, including some of our local high school clubs. Not to put them on the spot, but I believe Ohana Nananui will be one of those clubs from Great Oak that will be present. So we're definitely focusing a lot on our educational booths and groups to be out there. Based on some of the presentations I've heard tonight, I'm hoping they keep an eye out for the event and sign up for a booth next year. But as I mentioned, we'll have about 8 food vendors. We're trying to make sure we have enough variety. About 8 educational, whether it's a school itself or a school club, and then about 6 or 7 non-food vendors, so either selling like clothing that relates to their culture or just having educational information about like a club that they have. And then as usual, we will have our live entertainment on the front steps, so that includes mariachi band, ballet folklorico. We have, let me check, Japanese taiko drummers, African drummers, and then also a group of chamorro dancers. So that will be on display throughout the event. We'll also have a few kids activities such as a face painter and balloon artist. And then for our commissioner's booth, we will have some giveaways for you, so that way you can interact with the community, whether it's through our globe stress balls, some stickers, and also a Connect 4 game. That way, you know, we can entice the little ones to come up and play the games, and then you can talk to the parents about all the amazing things that you do. So that's what we have planned. I'm happy if you have any questions or comments at this time.
Any questions or comments?
And Tracy, can you once again go over the date, time, location?
Yes. So it's Saturday, May 18th, not this weekend, but the following weekend from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and it's here at City Hall. So we have our live entertainment on the front steps of City Hall, and then all of the vendor booths will be located around the Main Street Y and the grassy area of Town Square Park. It is an open house style event, so you know you can pop in right at 10, you can show up at 12:20. We'll be having some fun activities throughout. And then while you're in Old Town, we would encourage you to head down to Sam Hicks Monument Park. They will be celebrating Culture Days in honor of our sister city, Japan. So once you've explored all of the vendors here at City Hall, you can just walk on down Mercedes Street to check them out.
Thank you. Any comments? No? We look forward to it.
Yes,
It's
I
a
will
great
see you all
event
there.
every year. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. righty, Director, we'll go with Commissioners' comments. All right, so Commissioners, you have any comments? Anybody want to kick it off, start off? What you've been doing since the last meeting? Anyone? No? No comment? Yeah, yes, go ahead.
So this is our chance to give a little bit of where we've been and what we've been doing in the community. I want to start by thanking everyone who came out tonight to receive a proclamation. I know that it's just amazing to come together, and it's really important for us, if you didn't know how important it is, for you to come to the REDI Commission, get a proclamation, tell us a little bit about yourselves, what you're doing out in the community. I want to say, on behalf of myself, as part of the Jewish community, I don't know that I've ever seen a gathering that has people representing all the Jewish organizations here in town. There are like 6, but we are small and mighty, and I am really, really thrilled to see everybody out tonight. And the comments on all the different proclamations were amazing this evening. Sometimes when I get in a mood and I say, oh, there's not a lot of diversity in Temecula, I come here, and first I realize that that is not correct. But this last week, I actually had another experience that pointed me in the right direction to remind me how important what REDI Commission is doing. I had jury duty. And when you walk into that room and see the diverse group of people who have been called together for their civic responsibility to represent the Temecula Valley, it takes my breath away. I mean, not everybody wants to be there. But the fact that they are there and that we come together to do this responsibility and the diversity of people in that room, like, it makes my heart flip over. So I just want to thank you again for coming tonight and being part of representing the people of Temecula Valley and the amazing work that we can all do together.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else? Mr. Steve?
Just a note, we did attend the mural unveiling this last month. So beautiful mural again at Sam Hicks Park. Another great job by the youth in our community. And I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. About 3 years ago when the city gave the proclamation for Asian Pacific Heritage Month, a young girl got up and cried and said it was so meaningful for her to be recognized within her community, and that really stuck with me. So I encourage your communities to continue to come out here and be supported by your city and support your city as they make these changes, because if you don't show up, it might go away, right? So you really need to do that. And I could listen to Sandy's stories all day long, so thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you so much. Mr. Eventhal?
Well, first off, thank you for all the great comments. Very moving, very impressive.
You gotta, he's good.
Yeah.
Gotta be on.
Yeah. Echoing here. And very much appreciated. It's just incredible. And considering the things that have been going on in the last few years against Asian cultures, against Jewish cultures, you guys being here with your courage and everything is so moving. When you talk about Jewish history, you can't help but not talk about a history that, 1,500, 2,000 years of pogroms and persecution and repeating. And one thing that struck me on a recent trip to Spain is that they had their own pogroms and they had their own actions against different groups and such. And as a country, you never got the impression that they own it. Whether it was their actions against Indians or Jews or Muslims. And here in America, well, the conversations aren't always pleasant. At least we talk about it and we acknowledge it. And I think that's neat. I'm also reminded of a Mark Twain quote, which is that history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. I like that quote. Anyway, wandering around the Inland Empire, one of the things that happened that was extraordinary is that we have a great, rich tradition down here. We have great cultures. We have a lot of great things, wineries. One thing that's kind of missing is a four-year university. And on Friday, Supervisor Chuck Washington announced that he is dedicating $5 million to an effort that's a multi-city, multi-pronged effort from lots of different groups to try to attract a four-year university, particularly to the second the empty tower that's right adjacent to the MSJC building in downtown. And so I just wanted to publicly thank the supervisor for his commitment to trying to attract a four-year university. I think that brings us up to about $7.5 million. And we're now starting to talk real money. And that money attracts money and helps us get grants and such. So just a big shout out and a big thank you to the supervisor. And that is all I have to say.
Thank you.
Probably enough.
Vice Chair?
Thank you. So the first thing I want to go back to is the art mural that we have. So amazing. And this last month was, as you know, Arab American History Month. And one of the most amazing things for me was being able to be there at that unveiling, but have a friend, a colleague actually, who I work with, attend that unveiling. And I didn't realize it when I had invited her that she was going to bring her entire family. And what that looked like was 2 full cars. And their faces of the acknowledgement of what it is that we do as a city was so profound in that moment that it really really stuck with me. And I get to see her every day, but that one moment, what we do here really matters. And so I would encourage everybody to get a chance to go out, see the murals when they're there, do your part in terms of sharing and making sure, because as more we can spread the word, the better we are in creating a harmonious community. Earlier this month, a couple weeks ago, actually, I think it was last week, I can't even remember anymore, I had mentioned last month that the TVUSD was offering and hosting a Student Voices for Our Special Education and highlighting some of the programs. And that event took place. I was there with Chair Faulkner, and I have to tell you, amazing evening with students who shared things that were highlights, moments of compassion, certainly some really great data for us to look at, but really, honestly, from their heart in special education, they are getting so much from the programs that our school district offers. And that is only impacted and compounded with what happens afterwards as a community here. We do such a great job in terms of trying to create programs beyond that into the adult portion. And so I'm really looking forward as we move into the next year of trying to collaborate and bringing those two elements together and sharing. But I would be remiss if I did not sit here and say thank you to Dr. Tu Price, who was able to put that together and did such a great job that evening, along with several other colleagues and people within the district. So thank you for that. Lastly, I also want to say thank you to all of the students who are here tonight and sharing the information about their clubs, about their feelings, their thoughts. Understand and know that your voices are heard here. And we absolutely welcome you to continue to share and encourage you to share, all of you, and to do the great things that you're doing within your schools. And at some point that will be for your communities beyond just, your cultural community, but where you live and how you interact in your families. And so we're really proud of what you're doing here now, today. And that's really something that I want you all to take away for sure. And additionally and lastly, I will say that there are some incredible people in this room who represent our both our Asian Pacific Islander community and our Jewish community as well, who I get the opportunity to work with and interact with and collaborate with and pass through and get to just really be in their presence. And I am so grateful for them. 2 of you sit here on this commission, and I am so thankful to be able to call you friends and to collaborate with you. So both of you, thank you very much. Mr. Swartz, what you have done for education within our community is recognized. Mr. Rosenstein, we had the honor of honoring you last year for scouting, and you, both of you, weave your culture into everything that you do. And that is seen and felt, and we appreciate that certainly from here on, certainly from a commission standpoint, but just simply as a community member. That is so, so incredibly important. So we thank you so much for that. And there are so many educators that represent our Asian and Pacific Islander community and our Jewish community. And shout out to them tonight, because they do a tremendous amount in terms of being able to bring that culture and look at things through that lens. And that's really important for all of our students to be able to have that experience. So thank you very much for the time. Chair Faulkner, but certainly thank you to the community for this great opportunity.
Thank you. I tell you what, nothing energizes us more than being able to do this for the residents of our city. As you look up here, the REDI Commission represents our city. You see the diversity not on the way we look, but you can see the diversity in where we all come from and what we all do. That is Temecula. That is who we are. And that's who we should be. I know there's a lot of turmoil going on in our country, but we've got to get to a place where we are better together. And we continue to educate ourselves on our cultures, our differences, but also coming to that middle ground where we have things in common. And that's why we love this. I mean, we love the proclamations and bringing you in here and celebrating you and just encouraging you to continue to do what you do because it's impactful on our city. Let me get through the fun stuff, and then I'm going to get back out. That I did over this weekend. So I had the Rod Run, which was amazing. I don't know who went to the Rod Run, but those cars are solid, and that's a great event every year. There was a child fair at the mall and also a job fair, so I dropped in on those just to see what they were doing and those inclusive events to make sure that we have something here for our children and a lot of educational things for them in the job fair, making sure that our young people have an opportunity to get employment, which is critical in our city as well. So I appreciate the fact that we're doing those because it shows that we invest in our residents. I was at a Veteran Supplemental Support Network event up in Moreno Valley where they drew attention to Mental Health Month. I'm a veteran of 27 years in the Navy, but veterans struggle in this space with PTSD and the unseen injuries that veterans have. And they did a great job of a Daisy Walk. VSSN does it every year. They recognize veterans struggling with that, and they raise money to help them through that process. One of the things I told them, the first people who see signs of mental health is the families, all right? Whether it's your husband, your wife, or your kids. And many times, we struggle with stepping up and helping out because sometimes they're like, well, I'm fine, I can deal with it. And we get so used to them dealing with it that it becomes normal, right? Until something happens. So I like to leave with just something is when you see something in your family member, say something. Don't let it just ride out until they internalize and they explode. First, when you see something, say something. You need to engage them. So you're the closest ones to them, so they'll take it better from you than they will for anybody else. So I'll leave you with that one, because this is Mental Health Month, and we want to draw attention to that because our country, our county, our state, and our county and our city, we have people struggling with mental health, So let's make sure we are actually engaging there. So I just want to leave with the last couple things. We are better together, and let's continue to educate ourselves, not on just people who come from the same cultures we come from, but educate yourselves on people who don't look like you and who come from different spaces. You'll learn a lot. We learn every time we do these proclamations. We learn a lot, and it helps me grow closer to those cultures. So let's continue to do that. And with that, I love our abbreviation that we use every time. Thanks, Director Joe, for working through that and taking some snippets from us about that. Let's acknowledge each other. Let's celebrate each other, and let's continue to educate ourselves on the different backgrounds we have here. And with that said, anything from you, Director, before we close this out?
Yes, Chair. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Mayor Pro Tem Kalfas for being present here with his littles and being in this educating space. So thank you for being here too, Mayor Pro Tem Kalfas. And Lastly, for those of us that work in this space, it's not always easy. Dr. Price knows that. We try to do the best that we can, trying to bridge our communities. And a lot of times it's not about labels, it's just about othering and belonging. And every time we come here, we get that sense of belonging. We get that sense as Temeculans of belonging, whether you live here, whether you play here, whether you work here, we all belong here. So just thank you to the commission and to the community members who came out to emphasize that belonging.
Thank you so much. And with that being said, we'll adjourn our REDI Commission to our next scheduled meeting next month. Thank you so much.